So just to show how this navigation works, just for future reference, this button shows where you are right now. This is the navigation button. You hit that and then you would hit this. And that means pick up a spot on the map. And then you move around using these arrows. I've already zoomed in. So there's where I am right now. And my last destination's that red dot right here at the Kodo Trail beginning. Well, it looks like it's closed. Anyways, I found Arima Onsen, like the little onsen village, so I just kept zooming in. I've already pre-selected it just so it's faster. It seems that this map is very slightly a different shape than Google Maps or Apple Maps. I think that probably this is more accurate. I found as I'm driving, the road shapes are a little more accurate on twisty roads with this than it is on Google or Apple Maps. Anyways, you can see it just has a fantastic amount of detail. And I'm just zooming in, going down in altitude. And this is like up in altitude, I think. Getting closer and closer. And on the normal GPS while you're driving, you can only get down to the 100-meter level, but while searching for a destination, you can actually get another level of detail in this car, 50 meters. So for all the people that think that the clock is the more desirable option, actually, here we go, route. Actually find that, there's your destination. This is much more useful. I use it almost every day now that I'm out traveling in Japan, and I find that it's incredibly reliable even when you're going over roads that aren't charted. This is a 2003 map edition. The CDs in the back are from 2003, even though this is a 99 car. The navigation is much more reliable when you're going through areas without cell reception, and even though it looks like we're almost there we go, and there's your distance and your estimated time, and usually it picks the route that Google Maps would pick every time, even with traffic and everything. It seems to know. And some roads that exist some roads that exist right now aren't on this map, but when you drive over them on accident or on purpose, then it still accurately charts your position, even though sometimes it'll snap to roads it thinks you're on, but eventually it will put you right back where you actually are. It's super accurate, even when there's no cell reception. I really like using this map. And you can either start driving right now and then it'll zoom in on your location, or you can just hit this button if you don't know which way to turn out of the parking lot and it says to go that way down the road. But this navigation is so nice. It will sometimes show you an intersection, and it'll show you a little bar that like gets smaller and smaller when you get closer and closer to your turn. It shows you where the street lights are, and it even in the corner right here will show me a picture. Even though I can't read Japanese, it'll show me a picture of what interchange I'm supposed to turn at. So if it says like turn onto the Kyoto freeway, it'll actually say the word Kyoto right there, and just with a quick glance I can read the sign here and then look up and see that the word for Kyoto is shaped the same. And so I haven't missed many exits with this. So I just want to say this Toyota Century navigation system is spot on. It's very useful. It's very responsive for a system so old. I love the way that it draws. It seems like it's a vector graphics machine. It doesn't draw it like a picture. It draws it like a cursive. You see really quickly. It just draws everything very, very quickly as if it's drawing with a pen. Oh yeah, so between like 1,000 and I think like 6,000, it doesn't show mountains. I think maybe at 6,000 and beyond it shows mountains. There. Now you can see that a topographical map. Topographical. Beautiful. In my driving, I've noticed that Mount Fuji is the only mountain colored red. All the other ones are orange or yellow. You see, you can get some orange over there, but Mount Fuji is a distinctive red color, just to signify that it's at a very high altitude. 800 meters and below, you can see it right there. There's a Cosmo gas station. It will show you the roadside, like snack shops and gas stations. A lot of them are out of business now. Like a lot of Shell and Mobil stations are gone, replaced by Apollo stations for Shell in particular. But from 800 and below is best for the city because it shows you where all the gas stations are. And then I use like 1,000 to 6,000 for traveling on the interstates because you don't really need to know where to stop for gas. And then beyond that, I would use for just, okay, so 1,000 to, what's this, 4,000, 3,000, 1,000 to 3,000 I think are the best for just traveling on the interstate because it's a lot less detail. You don't need all those details. And then up here and beyond, it's not really good for like roadside navigation. I'd rather use it just for seeing where you are in space. Another great thing you can do is you can either have forward always pointing up, or you can press this button and north is now up, but it won't just have you in the center of the map just going in different directions. It will offset, even though north's already up, it'll offset the map in the direction you're traveling, so it still shows a very useful amount of information. I can just tell when Toyota made this map system, the software, the interface, real buttons. I love the real buttons. The touchscreen doesn't work when it's below freezing outside, but once the car's warmed up, it works just fine. So sometimes when I need to get out of there somewhere quickly, I use Apple Maps or Google Maps. But also, there's even buttons to pick detours. I think here's the navigation. You can pick a detour. You can find your home right here. I think one of these buttons is a golf course. You can even... Oh, when you leave it in a menu too long, it'll try to explain what the menu is, but I don't speak Japanese. But you can even tell it to avoid toll roads, which I find very useful. But usually I pick the toll roads because it just takes so darn long to get anywhere in Japan. But I just think this map, look how responsive this is. It's just, and I love the little beeping it makes to let me know I actually press the button. Here's the find a gas station button, I believe. That button right there. I haven't actually used it. If I see it on the map, I'll pull over if I need gas. But this thing has a fantastic range as well. I'm getting 600, 700 kilometers per tank. It averages out to about 20 to 21 mpg, and that's in mixed conditions, like going through cities, traffic, highways, going up and down these ridiculous hills. I'm driving by myself, but there's a lot of gear in the car. Anyways, this video is long enough, but I just want to show... a lot of people are replacing the head units with something else, and a lot of people prefer the clock. But if you're living in Japan especially, and you can actually use this map to this day. This is 2023 at the time of this video, but what a wonderful system, and it really helps me get where I'm going. And just overall, this car is such a fantastic mile-crushing, continent-crossing machine. Tons of power, very smooth, very little fatigue, and just lovely controls. The cruise control, everything about the car is great. The fabric, yeah, of course you already know what a Century is if you're watching this video. But I just want to say I'd like to make a case to not change the factory head unit. There's also settings on here where you can there's a setting here where you can actually mess around with the speedometer on the car, and you can mess with chiming noises. It's talking again. I can't remember what all these buttons do, but there are some settings on this that actually change the car settings. You can turn the rear screen on and off using this button, and I think you can also mess with the contrast of this. Yeah, so here's I believe that's contrast right there, and here's brightness. Yeah, but all these settings and stuff, I believe you can actually I don't think you can do it on the rear screen. I think with the rear screen you have to use the TV remote, but there's settings on this car that you can only access using this system. So why remove it? Just leave it how it is. It's already perfect, I think. And yeah, so there's your navigation button, and here's your this is where I'm at right now button. And then of course you can operate the CD changer. I think this is the TV button here. Yeah, there's your TV and your VHS. If you hit this button, it's VHS. Oh yeah, so here's your radio control. This whole thing's integrated. So I should probably turn it back to FM. That's a little annoying. Or I could have done that using this. Oh, well, looky there. Yeah, very sexy interface with the beautiful colors. It changes color based on if your headlights are on or not. I mean, like an aftermarket head unit won't do that. Beautiful, it's beautiful. And if only I could read Japanese, it would be even better. So it's already a 10-minute video, but I just wanted to just show it, like for people who don't have this car, or if you got one of these cars with an aftermarket head unit built into the dashboard here, even though the screen is small, it's very legible. It has great brightness in the middle of I just keep the settings on 50% contrast, 50% brightness. Fantastic legibility, very clear. The touchscreen is very responsive, but I love these physical buttons. It does not have automatic zoom. You have to zoom using this all the time, but I just set it at like 400 or 800 and leave it in the city, and maybe 100 or 200 if I'm parking, and then I'll throw it up to like 1,000 or above when I'm like going real fast down the interstate. This thing really, honestly, if you're going over like 110 or 120, it's a little too fast for the car. It's hard to control in heavy side winds or very bumpy roads. So just chill out and take it slow. And I found that this thing has such a long legs, like such a big gas tank. It doesn't really matter if you're going 20 over the speed limit. You'll still get there in about the same time. You don't need to make rest stops if you're traveling alone because it's already so comfortable, and you don't need to stop for fuel very often because it's just sipping fuel for such a large car. Just 20 mpg. I would never think a car this big with this big of an engine could get that miles per gallon, especially only with a 4-speed automatic and a 3.6 ratio rear end. It's not that deep of an overdrive, but I think they picked these gear ratios is perfect for the area here. The roads here are so winding and the mountains are so steep that having any taller gears, for example, for Autobahn cruising or interstate cruising in America, they would be inappropriate here. Also, when I put this thing into low, it thing can crawl through like city streets in Osaka, city streets in Tokyo. You can crawl at a walking speed without having to ride the brake the whole time if the air conditioning is turned off. If you turn the air conditioning on, it will kick up the idle to maybe 750 or 700 RPM, and that does make it so it kind of shoves forward and you have to ride the brakes. But I'm not really using air conditioning right now because it's in the middle of winter. Can't really tell though, because this is the Kodo path. It's beautiful around here. Okay, the video is super long. I just wanted to show, just for future reference, because someday this might stop working. I just wanted to show that it's still relevant to this day for finding a path. And especially if you set your home location, there's a setting somewhere on here for registering a home location. Every time you hit that, if I hit that right now, I don't know. I know there's a button somewhere to cancel the current navigation, but I can't remember what it is because usually while I'm driving, I don't have Google Translate out. I can only really do it while parked because, got to keep my eyes on the road. But I have that set to Misawa right now. If I hit that button, it would cancel the current navigation and route me to Misawa, and I would never be able to turn it off. But yeah, it's lovely, and I just wanted to state my case that this is a very proper system, and it's still useful to this day, even though this car came out in 1999. It is very useful, and I've gone to places here in Japan you would never be able to access without a car. Like you can't get to these places with a bus or a train. So if you're living in Japan right now and you're thinking about getting one of these cars, I would highly recommend it. There's premium fuel everywhere, and this car has plenty of ground clearance when you're in lift mode like I am right now, just because I'm in a really twisty, very single lane mountainous area. But if you're looking to buy one of these cars, but you're not sure if you can daily drive it, you can absolutely daily drive it. I've put way over 10,000 kilometers on this so far, and it's supremely reliable, and I've had no problems out on the road. And yeah, the tires with their thick sidewalls are excellent for cramming their way down city streets and like brushing against curbs and stuff, because the sidewall's so big it doesn't hit it doesn't hit the wheel, it just hits the tire. Anyways, okay, 15-minute video. I'm gonna hang up. Peace out, guys.